Chapter 39 The Guests. In the house in the Rue du Helder, where Albert had invited the Count of Monte Cristo, everything was being prepared on the morning of the 21st of May to do honor to the occasion. Albert de Morcerf inhabited a pavilion situated at the corner of a large court, and directly opposite another building, in which were the servants' apartments. 2 windows only of the pavilion faced the street. 3 other windows looked into the court, and 2 at the back into the garden. Between the court and the garden, built in the heavy style of the imperial architecture, was the large and fashionable dwelling of the Count and Countess of Morcerf. A high wall surrounded the whole of the property, surmounted at intervals by vases filled with flowers, and broken in the center by a large gate of gilded iron, which served as the carriage entrance. A small door, close to the lodge of the concierge, gave ingress and egress to the servants and masters when they were on foot. It was easy to discover that the delicate care of a mother, unwilling to part from her son, and yet aware that a young man of the Viscount's age required the full exercise of his liberty, had chosen this habitation for Albert. There were not lacking, however, evidences of what we may call the intelligent egoism of a youth who is charmed with the indolent, and who lives as it were in a gilded cage. By means of the 2 windows looking into the street, Albert could see all that passed, the sight of what was going on necessary to young men, who always want to see the world traverse their horizon, even if that horizon is only a public thoroughfare. Then, should anything appear to merit a more minute examination, Albert de Morcerf could follow up his researches by means of a small gate, similar to that close to the concierge door, and which merits a particular description. Welcome to Chapter 39, folks. We've done it. We've gotten this far. Aren't we glad? I'm happy you're here. I'm so happy to be reading this story with you all. And we go from the rendezvous straight to the 21st of May in the Rue du Helder, the day when Dante is to arrive at Albert's place. And I'm going to guess we're going to be spending some significant amount of time here if Dumas is going to this length to describe Albert's property. Either that, or he had some debts he had to pay and was getting paid by the word. I'm just trying to snuggle in right now because I am currently on a extended vacation from work. Decided to read the entirety of the Lord of the Rings books. Well, the trilogy. I've already read The Hobbit because I haven't read them before. But I'm just knee-deep in description right now. Just describing every little detail of environment and history and everything you can imagine. So, entering into today's episode, and presumably the episodes to come, where we're going to learn about the description of a gate tomorrow, I'm mentally prepared for it. One thing to note, now I don't have an answer yet, but a mystery is afoot. Can a mystery be a hand? A mystery can be at hand and a foot. But what is the mystery, you ask? Stop with the wordplay and tell me what the mystery is, Landon. Okay, I'll tell you. We have an interesting, perhaps translation, perhaps abridgment, perhaps nothing really, discrepancy at hand. I don't know the depth of it, the reason for it, yet, but essentially, if you're reading along in the Penguin Classics Robin Buss translation, you will notice that Chapter 39, The Guests, is much longer than it is here in the Gutenberg version that we are reading on air. This is the anonymous translation from the 1800s. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 8 episodes for Chapter 39 here, whereas the Robin Buss version is at least 3 or 4 times that. And I go on basing that I do essentially a page a day. Why is the modern translation longer than the original translation? I don't know. I don't know the answers, but we will find out. What do we need to know from today's passage, though, before we wrap up? A little bit of scene setting, a little bit of jump in time. We're skipping ahead 3 months, talking about Albert's little house little pavilion sitting on the outskirts of the property of his parents, the Count and Countess of Morcerf, otherwise known as Fernand and Mercedes. Will they re-enter the story? We shall find out as we continue to read Chapter 39. There are one or two lines here, though, that I want to pull out before we end, particularly the sentiment here, talking about the pavilion being on the grounds of his mom and dad, where it was easy to discover that the delicate care of a mother unwilling to part from her son, and yet aware that a young man of the Viscount's age required the full exercise of his liberty, had chosen this habitation for Albert. Mercedes, recognizing that Albert needs his own space, his own privacy, his own ability to come and go, or at least the illusion of it, because it goes on to say there were not lacking evidences of what we may call the intelligent egoism of a youth who is charmed with the indolent, ... and who lives, as it were, in a gilded cage. An interesting line, and I'm uncertain as to that gilded cage idea being Albert's perspective of his own situation, Mercedes looking at Albert as her pet that she doesn't want to get rid of, a youth who is charmed with the indolent. So Albert just loving the lazy, careless life of an only son. I am an only son. There was a time where I was pretty dang lazy and had a careless life. I don't think that of myself anymore. If I was charmed with the indolent, I wouldn't be doing a daily podcast, let alone two. But what do you make of that? Who lives, as it were, in a gilded cage? Or maybe that's just Dumas commenting on the situation separate from Albert or Mercedes. Just commenting on the kind of privileged youth who doesn't seek the activity of civilian life, is basically just a pet in a cage. Maybe. Unsure. I don't think we know enough about who Mercedes currently is to comment on that. It fits a little bit with Albert's personality, but let's continue here tomorrow with a little bit more of this description of a gate. You excited? Are you excited for this gate description? We're going to find out all about this gate. Join me here tomorrow. Until then, okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.